BBC Radio Suffolk.
6 guide dog owners from Suffolk have been meeting their local MPs in London today to highlight their concern about being refused entry into places like restaurants, shops and taxis. The charity Guide Dogs organised a mass lobby at Westminster as part of the charity's Access All Areas campaign, which saw more than 100 guide dog owners visiting Parliament to call for tougher sentences for those who deny them entry. In a moment, we'll speak to Suffolk Coastal MP Therese Coffey, but first, before I came on air, I spoke to Simon Dawes from Ipswich, who, along with his guide dog, Lusty Lennon, met with Therese Coffey at lunchtime to air his concerns. And Simon told me it's very demoralising being refused entry into a public place.
I've had it happen to myself on occasions, and you feel that it's a battle. On one particular occasion, I remember having it happen to myself. It was a winter's day, and I went into a pub and I wanted somewhere to eat, and I was told, "Oh, you can sit by the door." But I don't wish to sit by the door. It's very cold and horrible, you know. They said, "Well, you've got a dog. You can't take it any further." And I said, "Well, it's a guide dog. I think you find I should be able to." That is the law. It makes you feel isolated. It makes you feel on edge to start with, because you just want to be treated like any other normal person that would just walk in and enjoy that experience themselves.
What sort of explanations do shop owners and restaurant owners give as to why they won't allow guide dogs on their premises?
Usually comes as a result of a manager or something telling a member of staff, "I've been told by my manager that you've got to take your dog out of here," pointed out that it is an assistance dog. Sometimes it's said to us, "Well, I've been told by my manager you've got to take your dog away." And you get to a standoff then, and it can get very difficult then.
How optimistic are you, if that's the right word, optimistic, are you that something can be done to allow guide dog owners access to all areas?
Well, obviously, as the law stands, we do have access to all areas. The problem is the law is not being properly enforced. Those businesses that do refuse access to assistance dogs are breaking the law, but the prosecution side of it is not sufficient. It's not robust, and the fines are far too low. So that is why we're trying to push it along a bit, that it's taken more seriously. Now, as to whether that's going to happen or not is in the hands of our judicial system and our lawmakers to reinforce the law. Having spoken to the MPs today, I mean, we had 111 guide dog owners in Parliament today, and I myself spoke to 4 MPs. Having spoken to them, hopefully they feel a little more educated, that we may be helped in our quest for easy access, the access that the law provides for us, to be given to us and provided to us.
Simon Dawes talking to me earlier. Well, one of the MPs he spoke to in London was Suffolk Coastal Member of Parliament Therese Coffey, who's with us on the programme. Thank you for joining us firstly.
Good evening.
Is there anything you can do to help these people?
Well, when I met Simon and also Joe from Cookley, I wanted to discuss their own experiences, and quite often they are suffering from inexperienced staff, but that's no excuse. So I will be following up on certain particular incidents. But I think there is something that we might be able to do, because there was one particular example they used of public transport and also private transport. And I think there might be something we can do to encourage our councils across Suffolk to ensure that when they are issuing taxi licences, say, that it is very clear the expectations that that people who have assistance dogs can use those taxis, can use those buses, and I think that really matters.
And what about the possibility of tougher penalties for those who aren't allowing guide dog owners and their dog onto premises and indeed into vehicles?
Well, I'm happy to follow up on that issue. I'm not clear on the legislative vehicle that would be appropriate to do that. I have to admit, I think my focus is going to try and be on trying to prevent this happening in the first place to people, and to raise awareness not only of the legislation, but also through seeing what we can do, as I say, potentially with councils or other elements of guidance, so that, frankly, we don't have to end up taking people to court for non-compliance in the first place.
Therese Coffey, thank you very much indeed for being with us on the programme this tea time. It's